And we are rolling, guys. We are gonna hop right into it. It's another busy week, per usual. Welcome to the weekly daily podcast. It's me, Ben Dailey, the host. I am doing this very late this week. It is Tuesday. I put this out Wednesday. It's usually done on Monday or Sunday, but I have been a little under the weather. Not like sick, but like I don't feel great sick. You guys know the difference where you're like, I don't think I had a fever. If I went to a doctor, they probably would be like, you look fine. Your vitals and temperatures are A-OK. But, the internal doctor, a.k.a. my mind, is either sick or very weak. And I would like to say sick because I'm a tough alpha male. At least that's what I tell myself when I cry and whine. So it's good to be here, though. I'm looking out at the pool. It is officially no longer pool season. The pool is done. It's shut down. If I see someone out there in that pool, I'm calling the cops. Not allowed to be there. Okay, Tattletale Ben. That's what they used to call me, and I'm bringing it back. That's not what they used to call me. I've had plenty of bad nicknames, and Tattletale Ben, I don't think I ever had. Okay, I'm not a tattletale, all right? I hold my secrets in. Okay, that was one of the first things I learned on the streets of Forest, Virginia. On the streets of the suburbs of Forest, Virginia. You don't snitch. That's what they told me at church camp. No. It's probably the opposite, actually. At church camp, they were probably like, you always snitch. You always tell on your other people. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've gone to church camp. And I'll tell you what, guys. It's been a good week. Felt a little sick, a little under the weather. It's been the Labor Day weekend, so we got 3 days off. Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And when I say we, I mean me. I think most people probably did, but if you didn't, I'm sorry for rubbing it in your face. But it was nice to get the extra day. I think I've been so busy. I know I say it every time. It's obnoxious to hear, I'm sure. But it is kind of wild when I think about it. I've talked about this before, but when I think about like what I'm doing, working a full-time job and doing so much comedy stuff, and I've been exercising a lot, and it's such a full schedule. It's good, but also the 3-day weekend was appreciated, very much appreciated. Thank you, laborers. Thank you, people who labor and who have labored to create this Labor Day holiday that, if I'm being honest, I have no idea the origins of. Let's go through the holidays, guys. Let's go through the holidays and see how many I know the origins of. All right. New Year's. All right. Origin of that is it's the first day of the year. Boom. Nailed it. Next holiday, Valentine's Day. Origins of Valentine's Day. Boom. Two people in love a long time ago. Nailed it. Next holiday, St. Patrick's Day. Leprechaun found in Ireland. Long time ago. Boom. Nailed it. Next holiday. We've got Easter. Obviously, there was a bunny at some point that shook hands with Jesus. And boom. Easter created. After that, we've got Independence Day. That was when Will Smith beat up some aliens. Boom. Independence Day. That happened, Will Smith, 1776. Then we have, obviously, my birthday. That happened on my birth. That's a pretty important holiday. We've got a lot. Thanksgiving, that's when, obviously, these are all in jest. Let's be serious for the second half of the year, okay? We've got Halloween. If I'm being honest, I don't know the origins of that. If I had to guess, I'm going to give it a guess, guys. Halloween was some European tradition that honored the dead. That's my guess. I don't know. I'm not going to look it up. You can leave a comment if I'm right or wrong. Let me know. Thanksgiving, obviously, that's when the Pilgrims came over and shared dinners with the Native Americans. And then we've got Christmas, which is the birth of Jesus, which apparently nobody knows when he was actually born. They're like, let's just go December 25th. It might have been July. It might have been December. It might have been, it might have been February 29th. Could have been leap day. And they're like, you know what? We can't celebrate once every 4 years. How weird would that be? That actually would be a good idea for, a holiday that you're like, it's not important enough to have every year, but if we had it like every 4 years, it's like the Olympic holiday. Every 4 years on February 29th, you get the Olympics. One day of the Olympics. Yeah. So, do you guys think people who were born on February 29th on leap day of leap year, do they celebrate February 28th or March 1st? What do you guys think? I would celebrate both. I'd be like, if I'm only getting a real birthday every 4 years, I'm celebrating the 27th, 28th, March 1st, and March 2nd, baby. And then I'll probably just, celebrate until St. Patty's Day, which I remember. St. Patty's Day is something I never really, in college, they make every holiday. They make a reason to celebrate every holiday because just everybody wants to drink all the time. But I do remember one time celebrating St. Patrick's Day in college, and I was having a few drinks, and I was obviously 21. Obviously, but I was in the dorms. I stayed in the dorms my entire college career. Wink, wink. But I was in the dorms, having a few drinks responsibly. Obviously, non-alcoholic drinks. Allegedly, alcohol may have been in there. Anyways, there was somebody. I was on the hallway, which was weird. Where I lived, it was just a dude's hallway. I don't know. That's not weird. That's fairly common, but. I lived in Muse I think it was my sophomore year actually. And it was like 13 levels high, which I actually just heard from a college roommate that they are tearing down Muse and getting rid of it, which is sad to hear. That was like the biggest dorm building. I need to go back to Radford, where I went to college. Check it out. A lot has changed apparently, which makes sense. But the first level was split. Left side was ladies, right side was dudes, and then every other floor, 2nd to 13, was mixed. So dudes and gals mixed together. So I never got that experience. I had a weird, it wasn't weird, but I was an idiot. My two friends that I knew from high school, they lived in Muse their freshman year, which was the freshman dorm. When they send you the paper, where do you want to live? I didn't know. So I literally just signed up random dorms, and I got the ROTC dorm. I met pretty much nobody in that dorm. It was Loserville, okay? Washington was the name of the dorm. I called it Loserton, all right? Guys, that's the best I could come up with my brain in its current state. So sue me. I can't think on the spot. But because of that, I was like, ooh, let me live in the freshman dorm my sophomore year. So then I got to Muse, but a year late, and then I got on the all dudes floor. Whatever. Okay, who cares? I made some dude friends. And anyways, we were having a few drinks. St. Patty's Day. And some of the, not the roommates, but the hall mates, we were all in one room. And one guy, he was overdoing it, okay? He wasn't drinking responsibly, like Captain Morgan commercials say you should. And he got a little, I don't know what happened. He basically got kicked out of the room. I think what happened, if I remember correctly, he was too drunk and being very obnoxious. and somebody pushed him out of the dorm, and I think he like fell back into the fire extinguisher, like, you know how they have like cases, like the glass cases that you can break through to get it if needed. Well, I think he just like tripped back into that, broke the glass, and then of course we all scattered into our rooms and hid like cowards. But then a little bit later, we were like going out to go to like some get together somewhere. And as we were walking out, we saw our hallmate who had been overdoing the drinks and had fallen into the fire extinguisher. He was seated in the lobby of the dorm with cops surrounding him. And so we get outside of the dorm, and I immediately go to call my suite mate to get the scoop, to be like, whoa, what happened, dude? This is crazy. He's getting arrested. And so I call my suite mate, who is named Sam. But what I didn't realize is that I called another Sam in my phone, a.k.a. my brother. And my brother at the time was like either a senior or a junior in high school. It is probably midnight on a Tuesday. He is for sure in bed. He picks up. He's like, well, hello. And I was like, dude, what happened to Garrett? And he was like, what? I was like, dude, stop playing. What happened to Garrett? And he was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, Sam, we were just with Garrett. He's getting arrested. What's happening? All that said, Sam did not know what was going on, my brother, because he was not the correct Sam. But I did not pick up on the fact that I had accidentally called my brother instead of my suite mate until after the fact, which I don't know if I ever talked to my brother about that. I'll have to bring it up, see if he remembers that. Anyways, that was a weird, that Garrett who got arrested, he got arrested there, but he had some weird scenarios. One time, and I may have talked about this in the past, I don't think so, but he was going through a workout phase, and it was real big in college. It's still big a lot, but I feel like college, like a ton of people do this, is take the pre-workout supplements. It's like a ton of caffeine and whatever's in it. I don't know. I don't think I've ever had it. I don't want it. It looks like it would give me a panic attack. And I don't know about you guys, but I do not like doing push-ups when I'm having a panic attack. But anyways, oh boy, we've got a visitor. Up, hold up, buddy, over here. Okay, we've got a kitty cat here, and he's jumping on the recording system. Okay, right here. Come here. But yeah, my hallmate Garrett, he had taken, I think it was NO-XPLODE, basically a pre-workout supplement. And I guess he had taken too much, or I don't know what happened, but we just got called over to his room one Sunday, and he had his neck like bent backwards in a 90-degree angle. Basically, oh my goodness. All right, we've got quite the visitor here. Really? You need to get here, Blade? Blade, what do you want to say to the people? You want to say something? Wow, I put the microphone up. He was purring. You guys ever hear a purr? Anyways, I'm getting off track here. I've got this thing sitting on me. He's wanting attention, and you're really taking over the podcast, Blade, and you don't talk. You know, you come over here, you want the attention, I ask you a question, and then what? And then you just lay down. Okay. But Garrett, this gentleman, this hallmate, he had his neck backwards in like a 90-degree angle. So I'll do it on the podcast. It was basically like this. That's probably a good view of my Adam's apple. But he was stuck in that position. And I remember walking in being like, what are you doing? And he was like, I can't get my neck straight up. And this is probably one of the oddest situations, maybe one of the odder situations I've ever dealt with or ever witnessed, where you see somebody, his neck was bent back 90 degrees, and he's like, I can't get it back up. And you're like, I don't want to not believe you, but also I don't believe you. Like, what do you mean? I just wanted to like take my hands and just prop his head back up and go, stop doing that. But not only that, he insisted, he was like, you need to call the ambulance. So he called the ambulance while his neck is bent back 90 degrees as if he was a cartoon character who had broken his neck. And the ambulance came and I don't know. They bent his neck back upright, I guess. I don't know what they did. They probably gave him some muscle relaxers or something. But old Garrett something. Can't remember his last name. Also don't want to give. He was a cool guy. He liked to go out and have some drinks, and he liked to take too much NO-XPLODE apparently. But I will tell you guys what, I haven't been feeling the best over the last couple of days, but I have been back in my routine of using mouth tape. It's been a minute since I've talked about this too, but I'm back on the mouth tape. When I go to sleep, I'm shutting my mouth shut, so I'm forced to breathe through my nose. Am I feeling better? Well, like I told you guys, I just felt sick for a couple of days, so it's working. Right, Blade? Wonder if you tried to mouth tape an animal. That would be not good. That's actually animal abuse, guys. That's the definition of something that you shouldn't do. I don't know why I brought that up, but I was thinking about this the other day. With animals. I actually Googled it, and then it just made me sad. But I was like, I wonder if animals, if they're choking, if they know how to do the Heimlich. Like out in the wild, if there's like a lion who eats another, or who's eating and starts to choke, if the other lions have some sort of technique or understanding, like, ooh, this lion is in trouble, we need to kick it in the stomach. A little tummy kick. I don't know. But I thought of that because I was watching Blade eat. This old meowy cat gets very meowy when he's hungry, and he eats very quickly. Now, his food is mostly soft food, and it's fine. It's watered down soft food. He's not in danger of eating like large chunks, but he eats very quickly. And that's how animals eat in the wild. They eat so fast. They're just chowing stuff down. It's like, I feel like animals probably choke fairly often. I've seen plenty of videos on Facebook where a snake tries to down like a big thing, and I guess they can regurgitate it, but maybe I saw it was like it wasn't an iguana. What are those big dinosaur-looking lizards that are on islands? Komodo dragon? Whatever it's called. I saw one of those ate some big fish that was too big, and it choked on it. And I don't know where my Facebook algorithm is, but it's pretty much just like kind of gory animal videos, and then a bunch of random other videos. I had an algorithm time, a time in the day where my a time in my life. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say idioms that don't make any sense. There was a period of time somewhat recently where I was just watching a bunch of like third world country fishermen like cook up their food and crabs and different things and just eat them. And that was just like what I would watch for some reason. But yeah, I don't know. All that to say, I'm back on mouth tape, guys. Using the mouth tape, shutting it, breathing through my nose. Who knows? Am I feeling better? Maybe, maybe not. I need to try to bring that joke back. I tried to joke about it a little while ago. Don't know what the funny part was, but I think that's an interesting thing. That's something that I'm doing personally in my life. I've also been watching this HBO show recently, which has been good, called Hacks. It's been pretty good. It's a kind of like a stand-up show, somewhat. And I haven't watched a stand-up show in a while. It's cool to watch stuff like that. It can be motivating sometimes, especially when you haven't watched it in a while. I watched Crashing on HBO, which was very good. Like that quite a bit. And then I don't know if I've watched much other than that, but Hacks is basically an HBO show about this old comedian lady who has a long-term residency in Vegas and has been doing it for like 30 years. And she basically she's not even the main character. It's actually about this girl in LA, young female comic / writer, I think more of a writer, who gets canceled, and she's in desperate need for a job. So she takes a writing job for this older stand-up comedian in who has the residency in Las Vegas. And it's not bad. It's interesting. It's pretty good. It's got Shooter McGavin from Happy Gilmore, which is pretty exciting. Happy Gilmore 2, I think, is supposed to be coming out. Funny thing about Happy Gilmore 2, I'm just like very much stream of conscious speaking right now. I have no idea if this is interesting. This is very similar to just like if you were to access my brain, which we'll probably be able to do in the future, and you just like put a little machine, not a gun, but like a little sonar machine that sucks the thoughts out of my brain without me speaking. This is just what it would be. I just, it's Happy Gilmore 2. Ooh, it's a cat. Ooh, mouth tape. Ooh, the pool's just like whatever movie that is, that Disney movie where the dog is like, ooh, a squirrel. It's kind of how my brain feels like what it feels like right now. But speaking of Happy Gilmore 2, I think there was some sort of ad for, I think, extras or something that I guess I filled out because I kept seeing it on my Instagram. I guess maybe they're casting in this area, and I filled it out and never followed up on it. But for the last 2 weeks, I've gotten a text every day saying, hey, Happy Gilmore 2 and some Tyler Perry movie are casting extras. Meet on this Zoom call later today. And maybe I'll do it eventually, but I have not done it up to this point. But yeah, I mean, what do you guys want from me? I am all over the place today. But it has been a good week. I've had some good shows. Went out to some mics last week. Still working through the new stuff. I think I'm going to the opera singer joke. It developed into something. I mean, it's one of the many jokes that you like build out and you go, it's something. Is it great? No. But if I were to do a show, or if somebody were to say, hey, I want you to do the newest 10 minutes that you have right now that's kind of structured, I'd be like, boom. That joke, that opera singer joke, goes within that 10 minutes. But I think I'm going to move on to some other stuff for this week to try to work on. I'm doing the Denver Comedy Lounge this weekend, September 6th and 7th. So I'm going to try to do as much new stuff as I can, but not like completely new stuff. But I do want to try to have some like new stuff that is worked out that I can test at some good shows there. But the opera singer joke will probably be one of them. But at the open mics this week, I want to work more on some stories, and I've talked about them. I think last podcast I talked about going to swim states and being an alternate and ultimately having to swim because one of the kids on the team drank alcohol and got kicked off the team halfway through the meet, and then I had to fill in. And then that was a sophomore year. Junior year. Was it junior year? Yeah, junior year. I was not an alternate, but I think I only qualified. I think I only qualified maybe for a relay team, which was funny because it was like the B relay team. It was like the backup relay team, but Anyways, I like set a hotel on fire, which was fun. The Four Seasons. Uh, and the whole story behind that, trying to figure that out. Catching a room on fire and then running and hiding in my room, which is a common theme. I do the same thing in my clogged toilet joke. I accidentally clogged a toilet and I just like ran to my room and pretended to take a nap. That was like, I guess that was my defense mechanism in high school. If something happened, you go just run to your room, close your eyes, it'll all go away. Nobody will know. You can't get caught if you were napping. So, gonna try to work that out. I've got some stuff there. I've also tried many a times, but I'm gonna try again to tell the story of when I got locked in my bathroom during COVID, which was an interesting experience. I got locked inside my bathroom. I lived alone. I was alone. And the spring on the door when I shut the door like popped out. The lock broke, a spring popped out, and it forced the deadbolt into an extended position, which then had me literally locked in my bathroom for hours. Like, it was a long time. I was very unsure what to do. It's a weird position to be in, kind of like a emergency type situation, but not. It's like not an emergency in the moment. So it's like, I'm not going to die right now, but this is going to be a problem at a certain point. And it's weird when you have the time, like it's an emergency, but you have the time to think through your thoughts. Because yeah. Like in a regular emergency, like if there's a fire in the bathroom and you're locked in or whatever, you're screaming for help. If someone's like trying to stab you, you're screaming for help. You're not thinking about, ooh, is this embarrassing? But when you're locked in a bathroom, you're like, oh man, I'm like not in immediate danger right now, but this is going to be a problem. So now I have time to think about what I'm going to scream. And that is an embarrassing thing. You're like, help me. You're just like calmly screaming. But going to try to work those out at the mics. And try to have maybe not those, but some of the other stuff ready to go, newer stuff for the Denver Comedy Lounge. Looking forward to a weekend there. It's been a minute since I've been there, and it's always fun. Get to do like 5 shows usually, like 10-ish minute spots. So very much looking forward to that. I did some fun shows this last week. I got to close out a show at Louisville Underground, which is in between Denver and Boulder, kind of suburban type area. Haven't done a show at, oh gosh, I got cat hairs all in my mouth. This is disgusting. Haven't done a show at Louisville Underground. I've done an open mic there. They don't do the open mic anymore, but I did the open mic before it discontinued itself, before they stopped doing it. But the show was on Friday. Honestly, first longer set that I've done in a while. I've been hosting quite a bit, and pretty much, pretty much hosting is kind of what I've been doing. But I did, I closed out the show doing 20 minutes at the end of the show, and it was very fun. It was a great room. If you're not familiar, which you're probably not, well, maybe you are. If you're a comic in Denver, you're probably familiar. But if you're not in Denver, and if you're not a comic, then you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. But basically, it's like a restaurant up top, and then you go downstairs, and it's an arcade in one room, and then you go through another room, and it's kind of like a speakeasy type vibe. It's a this basement room that has a bar in the back, stage in the front, seats probably 40 to 50 people, roughly. And just, low ceilings, nice stage setup, nice background, curtain, the Louisville Underground sign. And it was super fun. And so, like I said, I was kind of worried isn't the right word, but I think I was pretty tired on Friday too. Like I said, not sick, just feeling off, And so I was going up last. I was doing 20 minutes, and it was kind of a long show. It was probably like at least 90 minutes. So the host went up, and then a guest spot went up, and then a 10-minute spot went up, and then there were 3 people doing 20 minutes. So I closed out like a triple feature type thing. And basically by the time I went up, it was a little later. The crowd was a little tired, and I was kind of in my head like, are they going to be on board? Are they going to be really drunk? Are they going to be ready to go home? But it was all fine. They were a great crowd. They seemed maybe a little bit tired, but they were engaged the entire time. They laughed the entire time. Had a very good time. It's always good to just stretch the legs a little bit, do a little bit longer set. So that was super fun on Friday. Then Saturday, oh boy, let me tell you what. Before I get into the show, I know you guys love this segment, went golfing, okay? And I do want to say, that was Saturday. It is Tuesday now. I put sunscreen on, but I guess I forgot to put it on my lips, which I don't think I usually think about or do. But maybe I usually put chapstick on, which is kind of also, a lot of them maybe have sunblock on it. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure I burnt my lips really badly. And they are chapped, and they don't feel very comfortable right now. But Saturday, I was super excited. Went to a nice golf course in Thornton. And I was very excited because, as I mentioned last podcast, I believe I got a new set of irons, which is the first time since 2005 since I've gotten new clubs. So pretty big gap. 19 years. Got Tacoma irons. The blade combo set. So it's like half blade, half muscle back, half cavity back. And let me tell you what, I like them a lot. Was very excited. Felt pretty good about how I played. It was a tougher course, and I did make some mistakes that, like out of bounds and lost balls, things like that, which I think I'm going to practice a little bit more and really try to hone things in. I shot 85, not great. I had 4 birdies, which is awesome, but it's kind of funny too to be like, I shot 85 with 4 birdies. Like, usually if you get 4 birdies, you're shooting a lot better than that. But I had a couple triples and OBs, things like that. So I've got to work on a couple things, but that was very exciting. And I had a lot of fun doing that. Played with another comic. So it was fun to yuck it up and hang out. But Saturday evening, did a Don't Tell. Hosted a Don't Tell show. It was at a new venue. It was like an event space in Denver, and it was a lighter crowd, but it's a very fun venue. I'm excited to do that venue in the future. It can probably fit easily over 100, and it's just a cool space. So, looking forward to that in the future. Like I said, it was a smaller crowd for this one. It's Labor Day weekend. Fish is in town, doing 157 shows or however many shows they usually do. But for the size of the crowd, it was a fun show. I felt loose. I felt good with my host set. Felt comfortable. I've said it before. You kind of have the ebbs and flows with comedy where you're like, oh, I feel confident, and then you'll be like, I don't feel confident. I'm in my head too much. What's happening? And other times you're like, I'm in total control. I know what I'm doing. I'm only going to rise from here. It's a very mentally up and down game, but I do feel more and more consistent, which is the ultimate goal. It's like, look, you're always going to have off nights or days, sets where you're like, I felt a little off. But the more you can get consistent and raise that consistency level, the better. It's part of the journey as a stand-up comedian, as an artist. But felt good with my set there. All the comics did pretty well. And a couple buddies were on the show, yucked it up. It was fun to hang out there. Sunday, no volleyball game this week because of the Labor Day weekend. We're playing in the playoffs this Sunday, so it'll be exciting. I'll keep you guys updated on how badly we lose. We might be able to win our first game. I think it's like we play our first game, and then if we win that, we then play like the top 2 seeded teams who get a bye for the first game. And then from there, if we win, we play in the championship. Is there a chance that we make it all the way? Sorry, I'm like itching my face. I think I'm allergic to cats. There's a chance. There's a chance that we make it. Not a good chance, but should be fun either way. It's going to be a busy weekend, man. It's been a busy weekend. I've got, like I said, I'm doing the Comedy Lounge, the Denver Comedy Lounge on Friday and Saturday, and it's 5 shows. So it's 7 o'clock Friday, 9 o'clock Friday. Then on Saturday, the Denver Comedy Lounge is 6 p.m., 8 p.m., 10 p.m. shows. But I'm also doing another show in Louisville, actually, again. I'm hosting a clean corporate type setup. I got hit up by another comic who I appreciate very much. He asked me if I wanted to do this gig, hosting, doing, I think, 15 up top or something clean, and then just hosting the rest of the show. So I'll do that and then head back to the Comedy Lounge. But basically, that's at 3. It's like an hour away, or roughly, so I got to leave by 2, if not earlier. And then if I exercise in the morning, there goes the Saturday, And then Sunday, might work out. I usually work out in the morning. And then the volleyball tournament. And then where's the weekend at? The weekend's gone. It's crazy. My nose is itchy. Itchy nose. But all that said, I'm very grateful to have a busy schedule. And look, at some point, I will be making the leap. Trying to make the leap to go full-time. So all of this, I'm so busy, will remain the same, but it'll be busy, good. Like, hey, I'm very busy trying to set up tours and runs, and then I can tell you about how badly I bombed headlining these tours and these runs. Which, by the way, I'm very excited. It's hard to, what's the saying? It's hard to see the woods through the trees for the woods, the forest through the trees. I don't know. Every time people say that idiom, I'm like, I don't know exactly. I know what it means, but I don't quite understand the sometimes my brain just with certain phrases it's no good. But sometimes it can be tough to see and appreciate and understand like the accomplishments that you have gotten with all the work that I put into comedy. And I do feel like if I look back on it, I do feel some momentum, which I've felt certainly in the past. But to see the continued momentum is very cool. I've been able to headline, kind of headline a handful of local shows. I just set up, I think, another headlining gig in a couple months in Colorado. Obviously, like the tour I went on in May, I headlined a couple of times. So that's very exciting to be able to close out shows and flex that muscle and learn to get better on that end. Obviously, yeah, it does feel crazy because it's like so busy. Time feels like it's flying. But yeah, if I look back like 2 years, even if I look back a year and a half, like my life as it's related to comedy and my pursuit of comedy as a job and just as a trying to get as good as possible has changed completely. I'm doing a ton of don't tells, which I feel very grateful to be part of that. Same with Rotating Tap. I'm hosting uh, a handful of those shows every month, which is awesome. Those are super fun shows. And then, I mean, that's pretty much filling out my schedule. And if I'm able to get a weekend once a month or once every other month at one of the local clubs or just some local shows as well, it's great. It's felt really good to work, put all this effort into pursuing this thing, and to kind of look back and go, oh wow, I'm moving in the right direction, which is awesome. Because sometimes you just feel you're like, man, I'm putting a lot of effort into things and not getting anything out. But as long as you keep working hard and keep trying your best to do the things that you know you need to do in order to hopefully move up, if you truly like look back, I think most people would say like, oh, we are making strides. And whether that's like let's say I didn't get or wasn't a part of these things that I mentioned, like Don't Tell or Rotating Tap. I mean, I think that's a big part of me leveling up and getting better, but also just, going out and setting up my own tours and just hosting a bunch in general, whether it's with like Don't Tell or other stuff. I see a pretty drastic improvement, which is awesome. And it's also funny too because the better I get, the more I look back and go, wow, delusional. You're delusional, Ben. You've been which I've said it before. In order to become a comedian, you kind of have to be delusional. A lot of this artistic pursuit stuff, whether it's comedy or acting or whatever, you have to like have this delusion where you're like, I'm really good, because you're not going to be good. But you have to like believe you're really good until you get really good. So it's funny because I feel like I'm pretty connected, like self-critical and, uh, I'm not like a crazy person who's like 100% delusional, but also you go, man, a year or two ago, like back when I was doing these other jokes, I genuinely was like, dude, I'm like really good. People just don't know. And now I'm like, man, I now feel like I'm getting pretty good, which is like the same thought that I had maybe 2 years ago. But me now looking 2 years ago, I'm like, 2 years ago, Ben was not good. He was improving. He was learning how to write jokes. He was not good. Now it's like, okay, I'm starting to it's not called catch my stride. I'm starting to get my stride, something my stride. I'm starting to do that. And it feels good. It feels good to start to feel like I'm catching up to like what my brain thought I was and those expectations. And I mean, I think part of that delusion is good to keep you getting or I don't know. You got to have that to like keep pursuing this crazy thing. But you also have to have part of you that's self-critical and realizes and is able to look at yourself constructively and critically to be able to get better, because there's always room for improvement. So excited to move forward, try to headline some more, gain some more momentum, and I feel like we're close. I feel like we're close to genuinely being able to take off and pursue this as a more full-time type job, which is super exciting. And I'm very excited about that. And yeah, it feels good to be able to do that. And on that topic, I don't know when it's being announced, so I'm sure it'll be known when I say it, even though I won't say specifically what it is. But I'm very excited. I was invited to be a part of a local comedy festival here in Denver, which is like an invite-only comedy festival. And it's something that, if you live in Denver and do comedy, it's something that you want to be a part of. And for the last couple of years, I've, kind of been like, am I potentially up for getting invited or not? And looking back, I think it makes sense that no, I wasn't. But I'm very grateful that I was invited to do it this year. And yeah, super excited for it. It's, it's funny because it's like, again, it's an invite only thing, and it's a pretty, it's a pretty prestigious festival that people want to get into. And I was thinking about it after I got the invite. I was like, all of my life, I feel like I've been like average at most things. Oh my gosh, so many cat hairs in my mouth. This is unbelievable. I feel like I've been, decent at most things I've pursued, but never like really good. So, for example, with sports, with golf, it's like, oh, it's decent, but never felt like I was kind of in that upper echelon. Same with swimming. I was like decent, but not incredible. Same with music, like playing guitar. And just with, school, college, friend groups, like never felt in the cool kids club, I guess is the easiest way to put it. And it's not, this isn't me going, ooh, woe is me, feel bad for me. It's just to give you perspective on the point I'm trying to make. Oh my goodness. It is Fur City, dude. I feel like my face is covered with fur. Anyways, this is kind of feels like maybe the first time where it's like, oh, I've been invited to be a part of the cool kids club, which feels really good because myself and, I mean, look, I get it. Most comics in the scene have also put in like a ton of work, so I don't want this to sound like pretentious or anything, but to have put in a bunch of work and like really dedicate my life to doing stand-up comedy over the last 6 years, and really started out terrible and put in the work to like get better. Not only the work with joke writing, but with setting up shows that I've run, with setting up tours, with making friends, with just the full spectrum of things. To have kind of a small payoff be an invite to it's not just this, other things that I've gotten are also feel like, oh, it's like somewhat recognition of the hard work, or just part of dedicating yourself to it. You'll get certain things, certain shows or things like that. But it does feel good, and I'm very excited to be a part of it. Looking forward to doing that. Like I said, I'm not sure. I think they're announcing it this week at some point, and I'm not sure what show I'm on or what I'm doing. If it's hosting the open mic, I don't care. Whatever it is, just excited to be a part of it, and very grateful to people out there who probably vouch for me or threw my name out there. So if that was you, and if you are listening, thank you so much. I appreciate it very much. It means a lot to me. But with that said, I have rambled for enough this episode. The cat hair is taking over my mouth and body. This cat is doing biscuits to my leg, and it hurts. So I'm going to end it there. But thank you guys so much for listening. I appreciate you guys tuning in as always. Hope this was an enjoyable episode. And yeah, I'll see you guys again next week.